everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's upcoming game this Sunday at home at St James's Park against Wolverhampton Wanderers. This is one of two games that you would like to think is winnable for the club, and two massive games really to get us back into some kind of a look-in for that top four spot. So we're going to get stuck into this in a second, just say how we think the team's going to line up and look at the head-to-heads, and then just give you a little bit of an opinion on how we think the game is going to go. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button. We'd love you to come and join us. We're on 2,550 subs, I think, at the minute. So we lost a couple of subs following a previous video, which I won't get into, but there's loads of room for you guys. If you want to smash that button, come and join us. All free content and evermore. 2 live shows Mondays and Wednesdays, and pop-up videos just like the match preview you're about to watch. So as I said, this game and the Forest game represent Newcastle's second chance, so to speak, to get back to winning ways. It's been a tough few weeks, really. Defeated to Liverpool, which I think was unfair. I just think we fell asleep for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, which I struggled to do last night. Very bad night's sleep, so I'll do my best to get through this one. But so we fell asleep against Liverpool, 2 simple balls over the top, and we were 2-0 down before we knew it. Then Pope got sent off. Manchester United in the final, again, we just didn't really turn up. We were beaten by a much more experienced team. I wouldn't say a better team, but experienced. And then Manchester City just, didn't even get out of second gear really to beat us. We had moments in all 3 of those games, and you like to think those moments against a team like Wolverhampton Wanderers, with all due respect to them, we will be able to, to do something about those moments and to finish. But to do that, I do think we need to make a big change, and Eddie Howe needs to make a big change. He's been asked about this big change in the press conference. So let's look at the team. The big change is simple. Alexander Isak up top. Simple as that. Callum Wilson is so off form that he needs to come out of this team. Eddie was asked about Isak in the press conference, and he spoke about how he likes the player and how brilliant he's been, and he's trained consistently, I think, for the first time since we've signed him, which is scary when you think about it. The glimpses we've seen of Isak before injury, how good he's been, and he hasn't trained properly before that. I mean, that is frightening. If he's trained properly, I suppose there's properly than there's Eddie Howe probably. Once Isak is fully up to speed in terms of training regularly and being fully fit, this guy's going to be a monster in the Premier League. But Eddie did say that he can't play 90 minutes. So for me, make him play the first 60 then, Eddie, because he has to start this game. Because if chances fall to Callum Wilson again, like they did, against Man City, and he fluffed them, even like he did against West Ham after he got his goals, and he fluffed them, we might not win this game, in all fairness. And this is a game that we have to win to stay in the hunt for that top 4, arguably that top 6 space, because things are starting to get squeezed a little bit in there. Brighton and Fulham are in decent form this season as well, so you don't want to be giving them an inch either. Never mind finishing top 4, you could slip out, even finishing top 6, top 7, which could cost you European football, which we do not want the season to peter out. So it's a huge decision to make. I really hope Eddie makes the right one, makes the call that everybody wants to make, and starts Alexander Isak through the middle. Obviously, another huge factor in this game is the powerhouse midfield beast that is Joe Linton is missing for 1 of 2 games. Which is bad. What Joe Linton gives us in this team is utterly phenomenal. You never would have said that a couple of years ago. But what he gives you in this team is phenomenal. His work rate, his strength, his ability to drive us up the park, his presence even in the side. He's a massive monster of a man. And when things are going a bit iffy, Joe Linton's the one who'll go looking for the ball, or he'll make that tackle, to save you from getting punished from an attack. So we are going to miss him. There's no doubt about that. The only saving grace really is I think that Joe Willock has come in and had some really bright cameos. And I think with Joe, Joe Willock, that is, being able to push a bit further forward, he could even be a goal threat in this game, alongside Bruno Guimaraes and Longstaff, who's been brilliant as well in the midfield. So I'm quite happy with that midfield 3. Either side of Isak, I've gone for Maxi and Almiron. The reason I've took Gordon out is because apparently he didn't train all week. So, and Eddie Howe have had a couple of knocks, but he wouldn't reveal who they were. And, for me, that probably tells you Gordon is one of those players with a knock. In defence, I'm crying out for it. Loads of people are crying out for it. I love Dan Burn, but it's time to take a rest. Matty Targett is back fit. This is the game. Bring Matty Targett back in, please, Eddie. We need balance on the left-hand side, so we can have a little bit of variety in our play. Everything goes down Trippier's side. stop Trippier, stop Almiron, and you stop the attack. So we need to have something going down the left-hand side. In the back, I took Jamal Lascelles out because Fabian Schär's over his concussion. And as much as people have tried to paint Jamal Lascelles as the next Sol Campbell after one half-decent game, he's not good enough. Schär is a much better player than him. Schär walks straight back into the team for me without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not trying to slag off Jamal Lascelles. I just think we need to remember that the players that are in this squad, and not the starting 11 necessarily, but squad, aren't good enough for a top 6 Premier League team. Don't allow 1 or 2 games to change your perception on that. Jamal Lascelles, Jacob Murphy, Matt Ritchie, even Jamal Lewis to an extent, not good enough. All need to be upgraded in the summer, and hopefully they will be. But in terms of Wolves, their team going forward, Adama Traore, their goal scorer last week, may possibly be reviewed for match fitness. That's huge because he is very hit-y-missy. He can either be brilliant or he can be utterly shit. So, but he is a threat. There's no doubt about that, just with his pace and his strength. So if they were missing him, that would be a bonus for us. I think Raul Jimenez can come in to replace Diego Costa, who I actually do like Diego Costa. He's a wonderful shit house. He's not the player he used to be, but I wouldn't mind him off our bench, to be fair, just because he's an absolute twat. But I think Jimenez offers you a lot more composure, I think, in the attack and more energy than Diego Costa does. And I think Pedro Neto as well, he could possibly drop to the bench ahead of Traore if he was to keep his place in the squad. But they have got some dangerous players. I mean, certainly in that midfield, with João Moutinho and Ruben Neves, who loves a long ball. They have got dangerous players in that midfield. So our midfield are going to have to be bang at it. But I think with the energy we've got with Willock and Longstaff, I think with Bruno's ability to get on the ball and make things happen and win free kicks, find those little through passes to likes of Miggy and Maxi. I think, our midfield should be better than theirs on the day, but we need to stand up and we need to put a performance in here because we need to get back to winning ways. Little look at the head-to-head. Mark's bashed this up together so you can see we're sitting 6th in the Premier League. Form guide ain't great. Wolves have picked up a fair bit. They're up at 13th. They were disastrous at the start of the season, galvanised by the new manager coming in. And they started ground out a couple of good results. You can see there the 1-0 win there against I think it was Spurs, wasn't it, the last game? It's probably got them quite excited in terms of their form. So they've won 2 of the last 5, and we've not won any of our last 5. We've drawn 3 and lost 2. So they've tasted victory a lot more recently than we have. So we need to be at our game here. You can see there in terms of there's been 17 league games since 2003. Newcastle have won 4 and Wolves have won 3. 10 draws, including 9 1-1s. So if you're a gambling man or lady, not my game, but bet responsibly if you are, 1-1 might be your best predicted score here. In terms of goals, Newcastle United have got 21, Wolves have got 19. So it is a bit of a tight game, as you can see there from those 17 games. Only 1 win in the last 9 versus Wolves, including those 6 1-1 draws, and we've only scored 1 more goal twice in April 2011 and October 2011. And the last meeting at St James's Park was 1-0 to Chris Wood. Penalty in the last meeting down at Molyneux was 1-0 with a Maxi screamer that had to save the day. And Wolves did look a bit dangerous on that day, and they were bang off form then. So this is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. The crowd will be at it. War flags will be at it. The atmosphere, the expectation will all be there. And I think Newcastle United need to turn up, and I hope they do turn up. Hopefully, something similar to the side that we just pulled up there, because changes do need to be made, or it's just going to be the same old thing, copy and paste. And I don't want the season to peter out. But in terms of prediction, I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle United. I think Alexander Isak gets on the score sheet and proves that he should be starting ahead of Callum Wilson. And hopefully we can take control of this game, win this game, move on to the Forest game, win that game, and we'll get ourselves back into the picture for this top 4 race. So this has been Chris, Rematch Preview. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please consider subscribing, smash the button. We'd love you to come on board. And if you can, like the video, it really helps get it around YouTube. We'll be back soon, I'm sure, with a little bit of match follow-up to this game, hopefully talking about a victory for Newcastle United, getting back to winning ways. But until then, let's keep supporting that team of United. Have a cracking day wherever you are, Magpies, and let's hope for 3 points this weekend. We'll see you later.